On June 22, 2025, a date that would forever be etched in the annals of history, events unfolded that would reshape the geopolitical landscape. The skies over Iran erupted in a symphony of destruction. The air crackled with tension as the unthinkable became reality. It was then that US and Israeli forces launched Operation Midnight Hammer, a meticulously planned and daring military endeavor. Their primary target, Iran's heavily fortified nuclear facilities at Fordow, a site shrouded in secrecy and suspicion. Natanz, another key installation in Iran's nuclear program, also found itself in the crosshairs. And Isfahan, a crucial research and development hub, were all targeted in the coordinated assault. These sites had long been suspected of fueling a clandestine nuclear weapons program, a concern that had been voiced by international observers for years. B-2 stealth bombers, the epitome of aerial warfare technology, and Tomahawk missiles, precision-guided weapons of immense power, struck with pinpoint precision, delivering devastating blows to the Iranian nuclear infrastructure. The operation was the result of months of meticulous and secret planning, involving the highest echelons of military and political leadership. The White House, in a televised address, declared victory, boldly claiming that Iran's nuclear ambitions had been decisively set back for years to come. In Tehran, government officials vehemently condemned the attack, but promised only a calculated response, carefully choosing their words in the face of immense pressure. This ambiguous statement left the world on edge, unsure of what retaliation might be brewing. The operation marked a dramatic and dangerous escalation of tensions in the region, shifting the conflict from covert actions and proxy wars to a state of open warfare, with potentially devastating consequences. As the dust settled, revealing the extent of the damage, the world braced itself for Iran's next move, and the unpredictable and potentially catastrophic fallout of a new volatile era in the Middle East. The world's response was swift, a tidal wave of condemnation washing over the involved parties. Nations across the globe reacted with a mixture of shock and outrage, and severe. The international community made its feelings known. At the UN, the atmosphere was thick with tension. Secretary General Guterres condemned the strikes as a violation of international law, emphasizing the importance of upholding established norms and principles. Echoed by Russia and China, both nations expressing grave concerns over the escalation of violence. Who warned of catastrophic consequences, painting a grim picture of a potential descent into wider conflict. European allies, France, a key player in diplomatic efforts, the UK, traditionally a close ally, and Germany, all voiced their disapproval, urged restraint, calling for de-escalation and a return to the negotiating table, insisting diplomacy was the only solution, the only path to lasting peace and stability. The US and Israel found themselves increasingly isolated, facing mounting pressure from all sides, as even regional rivals of Iran called for calm, highlighting the widespread fear of further destabilization. Middle Eastern neighbors feared the conflict would spill across borders, igniting a powder keg of existing tensions, threatening regional stability, and potentially triggering a humanitarian crisis. The operation's tactical success came at a steep diplomatic price, a cost that could have long-lasting repercussions, fracturing alliances and undermining global trust, leaving a sense of uncertainty in its wake. The message from the international community was clear. Military action had deepened the crisis, pushing the region closer to the brink. The world now faced a dangerous new reality, a precarious situation demanding careful navigation. With old alliances shaken and new risks emerging, the future remained uncertain. In the US, Operation Midnight Hammer ignited fierce debate and protest. Crowds filled city streets, decrying the strikes as unauthorized and reckless. In Congress, bipartisan outrage erupted over the president's decision to bypass lawmakers, sparking a constitutional showdown. Some called for impeachment, arguing the attack was an illegal act of war. Supporters claimed it was necessary for national security, while critics warned of endless conflict. The nation was deeply divided, with the legality and wisdom of the operation at the heart of a political firestorm. America's internal rift mirrored the uncertainty gripping the world. The strike sent shockwaves through global markets, triggering a wave of uncertainty among investors. Financial analysts scrambled to assess the potential damage. Oil prices soared, driven by fears of supply disruptions and geopolitical instability. As fears grew that Iran might close the Strait of Hormuz, a critical choke point for global oil shipments, threatening energy supplies worldwide, and potentially crippling economies dependent on those resources. Inflation worries mounted, fueled by rising energy costs, and governments braced for economic fallout, convening emergency sessions to discuss possible interventions. Security experts warned Iran could retaliate through proxies, escalating tensions in already volatile regions, targeting U.S. interests across the Middle East, including military bases, embassies, and strategic assets. The risk of escalation was real, a dangerous game of brinkmanship unfolding before the world's eyes. A single misstep could ignite a regional war, drawing in multiple nations and destabilizing the entire region. Intelligence analysts questioned whether the strikes would truly halt Iran's nuclear ambitions, or merely delay them, or only harden its resolve, pushing it further down a path of defiance and confrontation. The world watched anxiously, glued to news reports and official statements, knowing the next move could tip the balance from crisis to catastrophe, plunging the world into deeper uncertainty. The economic and security consequences were immediate, a stark reminder of the interconnectedness of the global landscape, and potentially long-lasting, shaping geopolitical realities for years to come. The world stands at a crossroads, facing the aftermath of Operation Midnight Hammer. The airstrikes achieved their immediate goal, but at the cost of global stability and trust. The risk of wider conflict is real, with economic and humanitarian consequences looming. The crisis has exposed deep divisions within nations and between them about the use of force and the path to peace. Diplomacy, not military might, is now urgently needed to prevent further escalation. The coming weeks will test global leaders' resolve to choose dialogue over confrontation. The hope that this moment becomes a turning point toward peace, not the start of a new war.